Hey everyone, today we're going to dive into one of the most challenging and honestly, one of the most life-changing ideas in the Bible. What does it really mean for Jesus Christ to be Lord? Not just Lord of our spiritual lives, but Lord of our Monday mornings, our family dinners, our careers, of everything. Let's get right into it.
So we're going to ground this whole discussion in a specific passage from the book of Colossians. This verse gives us a really powerful, super practical example of how Christ's lordship starts right in the heart of our own homes. Think of this as our foundation for everything else we're going to talk about.
You know, the theologian A.W. Tozer, he just laid it out there, didn't he? He said, if Christ is not Lord of all, he is not Lord at all. And that's really the core challenge for us. It means we can't just pick and choose the parts of our lives we hand over to him. It really forces us to ask, does he just have a few rooms in the house, or does he actually hold the keys to the entire thing?
So here's the main idea, the big takeaway from all this. Christ's lordship isn't something that's just saved for those big spiritual moments. Nope, it's meant to soak into every single ordinary part of your life. Your studies, your friendships, your work, even how you relax. It's designed to change everything from the ground up.
Okay, so let's get really practical now. For our first section, we're going to focus on the place where this principle gets tested the most, right? The home. How does having Christ as the Lord of your house actually change the way a family works?
The instructions in Colossians for every single person in the family, wives, husbands, kids, they all point to this one totally radical truth. Everybody answers directly to Christ. And that just reframes the whole picture. Authority is no longer about being in control. It becomes this incredible opportunity, this huge responsibility to reflect his character, his love, his sacrifice, his humility.
And this is where we see the struggle, don't we? Our natural, sinful default setting is pride and selfishness, and that stuff just poisons family relationships. But the gospel, it's the antidote. It humbles us, and it allows Christ to come in and completely reshape how we act and react. And here's the tough part. Your family life is basically a window that shows the world what or who is truly sitting on the throne of your heart. So what does this look like day in and day out? Well, it means speaking with gentleness instead of being harsh. It means leading in a way that serves others, not dominates them. It means obeying out of respect, not with a chip on your shoulder. And maybe the most important thing is to constantly have that little filter running in your head, asking that last question, does this action right here reflect the love of Christ?
All right, so this principle, it doesn't just stop at the front door. It comes right out into the world with us, which brings us to our second big area, the workplace. The very same Lord who is in charge of your family is also in charge of your 9 to 5.
You know, the Bible's teaching on this causes this huge shift in how we see things. Your ultimate boss isn't the person who signs your paycheck. It's your master in heaven. And when you really get that, it changes everything. All of a sudden, every spreadsheet, every email, every boring task you have to do, it becomes a potential act of worship that you're offering directly to him.
So why is this such a game changer? Well, let's be honest. It's so easy to slack off when you think nobody's watching, right? But this truth reminds us that someone is always watching. Christ sees everything, and he values faithfulness even in the little things that seem totally insignificant. At the end of the day, you're not just working for a company or for a person. You are serving the Lord Christ himself.
So the practical application at work, it really boils down to this. Integrity, giving an honest day's work even when no one's checking up on you. Justice, treating your coworkers and anyone who works for you with fairness and respect. And devotion, purposefully offering up every single task as if it were an act of worship.
Okay, so we've looked at home and we've looked at work. Now let's pull it all together and make this really personal.
The principle couldn't be more consistent or clear. It doesn't matter if you're talking to your child or your boss, your spouse or your employee, the one you ultimately answer to is God. Every single interaction is another chance to honor him.
So here's the first real gut check question, and it's about your home life. If you're being totally honest with yourself, does the way you talk to your family, the way you respond to them, does it reflect the humility and love of Christ, or does it show the pride that's in your own heart?
And now for the second question. This one's about your work. When the boss is gone, when no one is watching, is your integrity really driven by the fact that Christ is your true master? Or is it just about managing your reputation and looking good to others? And all of this leads us to the final, unshakable reality. This isn't just a nice thought or some helpful advice. It is the absolute central truth of the Christian faith. Jesus is Lord of all. And when we truly live in light of that truth, well, it changes everything.